What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another edition, part of Corner to Corner Wrestling Radio. C2C Radio Show is on the air at c2cradioshow.com, Spreaker.com/corner to corner, Apple, Amazon, TuneIn, everywhere you can find your podcast, you can find Corner to Corner. I'm Stan Grubb, and my tag team partner, Brian Taylor.
Sup? How's it going?
I'm doing. I enjoyed the XFL this weekend. That was a good thing. XFL wasn't too bad.
Did you?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I was actually kind of laughing because they had Greg Williams on the sideline losing his shit. And I was like, man, that's really reminiscent of his time in Washington.
So
screaming at his coordinators.
Who'd you watch?
I watched, I watched, of course, DC against Seattle. And then
Who won
watched DC, the Defenders won 22-18.
Good.
And I watched Vegas Vipers, I think is who they are, against the Brahmas. The San Antonio Brahmas, I think is what they are. No, Birmingham or something like that. I don't know. I'll be honest, I was really kind of surprised at how good the games were, but there is a significant lack of two things. One, offensive line. There's no offensive line for any of these teams. Just defense is just penetrating every single down. Quarterbacks running for their lives. And not to mention the guy who plays quarterback for Seattle. I haven't learned roster members yet, but anyway, the starting quarterback is getting decked every other down. Just straight leveled, full on shoulder to chest, just drilling them. And I'm thinking to myself, how the hell are these guys going to make it? Because it's like a 10-week season, right? Or 12-week?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
It's crazy. But the games were good. I mean, they weren't NFL games. So if you go in there expecting NFL, you're not going to get that. But I would say it's definitely entertaining. I'm glad to see it's good quality football. But the other thing that I started to realize was that, the first iteration of the XFL, of course, was Vince McMahon's, right? And it was, it's all right. Had some good football here and there, but it was mostly gimmicks.
Mm-hmm.
This second go-round was better football, less gimmicks. But, obviously we had the financial issues, and now we know Vince McMahon's a crook, so there you go. Alleged crook, I guess. So this third iteration was much more stripped down, just very true to football, except for a few different rule changes, which are interesting. Like if you score a touchdown, you can go for 1 extra point, 2 points, or 3 points, but there's no field goal to kick. It's you start from the 5, you start from the 10, or you start from the 15.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of liked that. I was like, okay, cool. So, you got a chance where if you're down by 9, you can tie it up in one shot. I'm like, that's cool. I like that. So actually, it was decent. It was good football. I was happy to see it. Although the St. Louis Battlehawks, these names, man, the team names are a little something. But the St. Louis Battlehawks, they had apparently a great comeback in the last 2 minutes. But the first 3.5 quarters of that football game were absolutely boring. So, I don't know. It's good football. It's worth tuning in for another week anyway.
Well, that's all that counts, right?
Right. So they're on FX, ESPN, and our local ABC affiliate, Channel 7.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it was funny watching Greg Williams lose his shit, screaming at his players because they started to run onto the field because I guess they thought it was time to switch possessions or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he is screaming. And the one thing about XFL is that they don't really censor the microphones.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, "Get the fuck back! Get back on the goddamn bench!" Like he's screaming. And his coordinator's trying to calm him down, and he's looking at him. He's like, "If you don't get out of my damn face!" I mean, he's just going off. I'm like, "Wow, all right, do you, Greg Williams? Do you?" But it was good stuff. You should watch it, Brian. You'll be pleasantly surprised.
Right. I mean, I always could. I didn't realize it was on.
Yeah.
So that is clearly my mistake.
Well, you got DC playing on Saturday night at 7 o'clock. They are, I want to say they're in Vegas. Let me take a look here. Schedule. Here we go. Go to xfl.com, and week 2 is DC at the Vegas Vipers at 7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
The Battlehawks and the Sea Dragons. And you got the San Antonio Brahmas against the Orlando Guardians. The Arlington Renegades against the Houston Roughnecks. Interesting team names. The logos are cool.
Cool.
Worth checking out. Had a busy wrestling weekend, man. We had the Elimination Chamber on Saturday. We had Battle in the Valley on Sunday. And, hey, I would prefer to start with good stuff, but I got to actually start with somewhat of a complaint. Now, before I go too deep into it, I want to say that Elimination Chamber in and of itself was not a bad event. Wrestling-wise, it was pretty decent. Some good stuff, some not so good stuff, but all in all, I guess if I had to give it a grade, I'd give it a fair one. We'll talk about that towards the end, but we had the Elimination Chamber. The very first match of the night was for the women's title shot for the Raw brand. You had Asuka, Nikki Cross, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Natalya, and Carmella. Brian, what do you think of the women starting the show?
What? I mean, why can't they start the show?
Nothing that says they can't. Did you think the match was good? Did you think the match was bad?
Well, I had no problem with the match.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily say I watched or paid, like so much attention to it, but I didn't think it was bad. I'm not really sure why, why there wasn't a title or something involved in it. But I didn't think it was bad.
Yeah, I mean, I would have actually preferred it to have been for the Raw Women's title, except I think I like the idea of it being Asuka and Bianca, but you better pay it off. It better be Asuka's win at WrestleMania. I mean, you're 6 years too late, but still, you have an opportunity here to give her a big title win at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's probably not going to happen.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, they're not known for doing smart things, and we'll talk about some of the tomfoolery that occurred later in the night.
Yeah, there was definitely shenanigans afoot. We had Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. Our first glimpse of shenanigans took place with this match. If you want to call it a match, it was 5 minutes long, if that. I mean, what the hell were they doing with this?
Yeah, so this one, I mean, there was nothing for me to even write home about, right? I mean, to me, it's a long, drawn-out feud that, at the end of the day, isn't going to net you anything.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's some fans out there that like Brock Lesnar and like Bobby Lashley. I've been critical of both at multiple points. This could have been a great back and forth just brawl between two big men. Instead, we got a kick to the nuts, and that was the end of the match. Oh, by the way, Brock's going to do an F5 to a referee. He's going to throw Lashley around. And, why do we care? What is different about this situation with Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar? Absolutely nothing. There's nothing different there. That, by itself, that honestly should have been our warning.
Yeah.
Afoot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't... I've never really understood this one to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Brock and Lashley. Well, don't get me wrong, I like both of them, but I don't understand it. To me, it doesn't really like there's no story, right?
Yeah.
They're both good guys, but they're having a tiff, you know. Okay, so what are we paying off? The Hurt Locker's back in business. You know, what are we doing with it? I don't get what we're doing with it.
I mean, if it had been the Hurt business, they could have at least been out there and interfered. No, we didn't get that. It's not like it's the first time these guys have fought. So, no, this is rematch number 512. Straight out of the Vince McMahon playbook, by the way. You know, this was just indicative of what WWE needs to get the hell away from it fast.
But while I guess they do commit the violation, they're not the only ones. I mean, I guess it doesn't really help either that you have like two non-talkers in more in higher profile type feud. I mean, maybe some people get it. I don't get it.
I just felt like it was useless. It was just a waste of, like I said, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I could have watched 5 other matches that would have had a good solid 5 minutes instead of this garbage. Like, that's how I felt. Like, it was the worst part of the night was that. Well, maybe not the worst, but it was definitely bad. We're going to go on a side tangent here, but that's okay because we come
it's
back.
Our show.
That's right. We come back from break, and it's Ariel Helwani is in the audience, and he's with George St. Pierre, GSP from the UFC history. And Michael Cole makes a comment saying, there he is, the world-renowned and unbiased Ariel Helwani. Now, why does this stand out? Why is this a big deal? Now, in most cases, people will be like, it doesn't matter. It's Ariel Helwani. Who gives a damn? And you're right? But at the same time, apparently Tony Khan thinks it's kind of a big deal. I'm starting to wonder if maybe Mr. TK is not aware that it's actually a work. But Tony decides to hop on Twitter the day before, on Friday, and calls Ariel Helwani a fraud and a hack or something like that, and that Tony Schiavone and the rest of his crew could do exactly the same shit he does.
So, have we forgotten where this comes from?
Have we forgotten where it comes from? Bring me up to speed, buddy.
So you don't remember the interview? All right, so let me set the stage, right? And this was several months ago.
Okay.
Ariel, I guess, interviews Triple H, right? Back during the Vince's scandal, and feeds them what are legit softballs, right? Never once brings up Vince.
Right.
And this is back during the scandal, right?
Yeah, neck deep in it. That interview takes place right as soon as everything's breaking.
Yes, we don't ask question 1 about it, right? Then eventually, sometime thereafter, he interviews Khan, right? Khan tells him he's not going to answer anything about the brawl, the scrum,
right?
Kenny saving the poor dog, whatever you want to call it, right?
Somebody save Larry.
Yeah. Tells him, I'm not answering that.
Ace Steel bit a guy.
Right? Yeah.
I'm never not going to do that. So.
But anyway, so Tony tells him point blank, I'm not answering those questions.
Right.
Right? And I'll lay you money, right? Because every good person that goes on an interview is going to kind of want to know what's coming at them.
Right.
He probably said going in, I'm not answering those questions.
Yep.
His publicist or, PR guy for AEW said, we're not answering those questions. Right on down the line. There was probably several people that said, we're not going to answer that question. Leave it alone. It's not going to happen. Right? So what's he do? He keeps going on and on and on about this fight, right? The brawl, right? Tony has to tell him, it's not happening, kid. Keeps going on, though. doesn't let up.
Mm-hmm.
So Tony becomes the worst or a very bad interviewer, right? Oh, this guy, he was bad, right? Is what Ariel says about Tony. This was one of the absolute worst interviews I've ever done.
Right. He says it's disappointing, and he doesn't understand why Tony didn't want to answer his questions.
Right. Yeah.
I recall that.
Yeah. So again, it's just funny that here the guy is supposed to be, a journalist, impartial, whatever. And then here's Michael Cole taking shots while the guy's standing on your program. Now I get it. I used to love Monday night, and who will ever forget that'll put butts in seats.
Right.
Right. That's great. But that's where this is coming from. That's what people have to understand. Right. This is a guy that apparently is like legit on their payroll. Or if he wasn't, he is now, because I bet you he got paid for his little guest appearance. Legit on their payroll.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't acknowledge the fact when he goes to interview Tony. And to me, that's what do you call it? Sensationalist journalism or whatever.
I mean, it definitely comes off like that. I remember when Helwani comes on or does his kind of post-interview thing where he says, yeah, I was really disappointed. And I remember Tony Khan being taken off guard by that, saying that, and he publicly states, he's like, listen, I told him I wasn't going to answer these questions. So he does say that. And he says it during the interview. He says, yeah, I'm really not going to get into that. I mean, he doesn't do it in a mean way. It's just very, I would call it diplomatic.
What? But here's the interesting fact, right?
Yeah.
I'll lay you money, HR put a gag order on them.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that legal and HR both are like, you don't say shit.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if this guy was any type of credible journalist,
yeah,
he would have known going in, it's not going to happen.
So here's the question then. Why wait to go and really to go ham, really to go off until February 17th of 23? Because the interview was last summer. Well, last fall-ish. We'll say fall. Either way, I mean, it's been a considerable amount of time. He's right to say his opinion. I don't dispute his opinion at all. My issue is more along the lines of, dude, what the hell? Where does that come from? Did we forget that we're in a...
No. Who are you talking about? Tony?
Yeah.
But he did state his opinion. All right, so let me ask you this, Stan.
Sure.
So you're AEW.
Right.
Right? And I'm WWE.
Okay.
Now you find out what you've been suspecting all along.
Right.
Right? That this guy did what he did, probably just to try and make you look bad. Won't be the first time a wrestling promotion has done it. It's not going to be the last. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't you go out there on Twitter and take the first shot?
Was it because he did the voiceover for Sami Zayn's journey home? Is that where this came from? I couldn't truly understand why.
I have no idea. But, this guy, Tony can, go after him every day for the rest of his life if he wants to.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting because he timed it in the middle of SmackDown and in the middle of Rampage. I'm like, damn, what the hell?
Yeah, because somebody probably said, hey, Tony, guess what? Your boy's on the payroll.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with Helwani, I mean, if he wasn't on payroll before, I'm kind of the mind that maybe he is now.
He's got to be now.
And that's fine. I don't begrudge anybody an opportunity. Go do it, man. Do what you got to do. I think he did play Tony for a sucker. And I give him that. I give Tony that because he comes back after the interview. He's like, it didn't go well. Tony didn't want to answer my questions. They want to play ball. But then he does the interview with Triple H, and I agree with you. He does give a shit ton of softballs. I think he goes in it at the same time, though, thinking there's no way he's going to answer me. The question becomes, why wouldn't you just give Tony that same respect? You know, if you don't think Triple H is going to answer you, by the way, Triple H is basically in charge of WWE at this time. Oh, by the way, Triple H is also in the most corporate of mindsets. You have to know you're not going to get answers to those questions. So you don't ask them. Tony Khan's what? The owner of a football club overseas in the UK, the Jacksonville Jaguars, along with his father. Oh yeah, and AEW. It's got 3 different major corporations. Granted, AEW is not publicly traded, but all of that, and you can't give him the same respect. Is it that hard?
He doesn't want to. Why should he? Who's the bigger like company you don't want to screw with? AEW or
you shouldn't want to
WWE?
screw with any of them, in my opinion.
But I mean, you're looking for a paycheck.
Yeah. And keep in mind, like, I know that this is just a rabbit hole that there's going to be people on both sides, right? Tony Khan's a money mark. All right, yeah, I get it. People are going to say that. But people are also going to say that WWE and Triple H and probably Vince behind the scenes are all hiding behind their quote-unquote corporate PG structure. Okay, fine. Say what you got. But there's a huge lack of respect between the two sides. Like, I felt like you felt when Helwani says basically, yeah, he was a horrible interview. Like, that's a shitty thing to do. And it's also incredibly unprofessional and unethical, if we're really being honest. You don't go in and claim yourself as a unbiased journalist and start acting like, you can just burn people down. I get it. You're giving your opinion. It's on your podcast or whatever he calls it. But you're working for ESPN, you're working for all of these outlets, and then WWE is also paying you. It doesn't provide a great look. And, I get why Tony would say what he says. Watch Cody come out tonight, by the way, and get drowned out by Sami's fans. That's going to suck. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But that's the Helwani bit. We get back into Elimination Chamber. We got the mixed tag, Edge and Beth Phoenix against Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. I mean, everybody's going to talk about the botch 2 count. I think personally this match was actually a lot of fun. There was some good stuff to it. And even though Rhea doesn't get pinned, still we see the Judgment Day lose against Edge and Beth Phoenix. Honestly, I think I would have held on to this and maybe done this at WrestleMania with Edge and Rey against maybe Dom and Finn, because this feels like a bigger payoff than it should have been. And now, I supposedly the rumor is it's going to be Finn Balor and Edge in Hell in the Cell at Mania, which, if that happens, could be really, really good. But I felt like this match could have actually been a better payoff at like a Mania.
Once again, it's this is something that doesn't really interest me. It doesn't really interest me.
Yeah.
So I'm old school. I'm old school in the fact that if 3 or 4 guys jump one guy, chances are one guy's going to get his ass whooped, right?
Yeah.
That's how it works. And I'm not quite sure, like, how or why Judgment Day just hasn't, like, wrecked Edge by now. How they keep getting drug into, like, now Beth Phoenix is involved and, everything else. And you would think they would have learned and, put Edge in the hospital or something by now.
I mean, how many times do you got to, like, do the whole concerto bit until finally you realize maybe I should keep my wife away from this? That was my thought. I'm like, damn, how many times are you going to do the same basic spot? It's the same thing every single time. And I agree with you. Like they don't give a whole lot of room for error. They don't really give you much to bite into either, because it's like, okay, well, Edge has been dropped multiple times. It should be he should be retired by now, legitimately.
Right.
All the times they put him out, but he fights his way back. He's got grit, they say.
Yeah, I mean, this is one that to me is just, it's going on just way too long.
Yeah.
And now you're going to stretch it to Mania? I don't know. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, like, my interest is waned. Mm-hmm. And, again, I said that I'll be back in the watching WWE at the Rumble. Well, one thing I've learned since coming back is they have a lot of things going on that just, like, aren't interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that the wrestling's bad. I'm not saying that the people involved are bad. I'm just saying, like, this is the same stuff. Some of the stuff is the same thing that I left however many months ago. It's the same feuds.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we haven't, I get that storytelling. Well, okay, but storytelling needs to at least be interesting, compelling, make me believe in it, or whatever. And once again, this is just one of the ones that I can't get into, because instead of Edge being like, oh, let me go find two males.
Right.
Oh, AJ Styles is not working. Let me go get the Good Brothers. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or let me go get somebody else. I don't know. The Viking Raiders still around? Or are they bad guys?
They are bad guys, but I mean, not that Ford didn't do well. We're going to talk about that match here in a moment, but you could have did Street Profit.
Yeah, I mean, there's different things out there. I don't know. It was. I mean, this pay-per-view again is not bad. I'm not saying there's anything negative to it.
Yeah.
But it did not hold my attention. Well, there were parts that did, but for the majority of it, it never held my attention at all.
I mean, it just wasn't. Like I said earlier, this event was not harmed by bad wrestling. There wasn't bad wrestling on this show. It was harmed on a complete lack of understanding of, delivering on your storyline. Like, how can a guy as well versed in storyline progression like Triple H not deliver in such key points?
Well,
and that's why so many people, and I think you probably feel this way, is so many people think that Vince is running the show. Because Vince lives for the moments, man. He doesn't live for actual delivery. He lives for moments.
But I mean, I don't see. Would it shock me? No, it wouldn't just shock me. But I don't see, like, how this is anything more than somebody's attempt to do what he thinks is right. Now, and again, let's not forget that Triple H, while he was in NXT, had Dusty Rhodes and had William Regal and had people to help him along the way.
Right.
Does he have those people where he's at now?
Close as I can figure, he doesn't.
So then we're still relying on Kevin Dunn's and, a crew, the Right to Show, that has no clue about right wrestling. And maybe he looks at it and it's, much like other people when they're new to booking. You know what I'm saying? Because we all know Vince had a stranglehold.
Mm-hmm.
That's well documented. That's nothing new, nothing crazy I'm saying here.
Right.
That's like legit. Vince had a stranglehold, and they would rip up a show 3 hours before and spend 3 hours writing a new one on the day of the show. So how much booking did Triple H really get to do? Well, he sat there and he probably watched, but that doesn't mean that when he gets his opportunity, he's going to take the ball and be able to just be some omnipotent booker.
Right. And perhaps we are setting the bar too high for Triple H. Maybe we're expecting, godlike booking from a guy that, frankly, hasn't proven himself. Maybe that is true.
But again, that's why I wanted to step away for 6 months after he got the reins and, see what he does. But to me, at the end of the day, they're the same feuds. And, this isn't like in the old days where Dusty Rhodes fought the Four Horsemen for 5 years. But every other month, Dusty Rhodes was getting run over by a pickup truck or having his leg broke or,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like any number of things. This is, let me go get the wife. And, instead of me going to get some brawly men to help put an end to, Judgment Day once and for all. No. We're just going to prolong this. And at the end of the day, even if Edge wins, he's not really going to win.
Right, because it's the I hate you, this will never be over, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, like we get it. You hate the guy. Okay, fine. Can we just keep it moving?
Yeah. I don't know. And is Balor, is he Prince Devitt or is he Finn Balor or what's going on? I mean, I think they've referred to him as the Prince or something.
Yeah, I mean, they hint around it. They don't go by Devitt, but they are playing with basically they're playing with it like he's doing that character now. That's where this bad guy routine is coming from, which, again, not a bad move, but, those subtle hints and all that stuff, I don't know. That doesn't do it for me. Like, I don't get into, like, the subtle hints. All right, you're either doing it or you're not.
Right.
You're going to call him Finn Balor, just call him Finn Balor. Don't be like the Prince, blah, blah, blah. You don't need 50,000 nicknames. Just do the thing, man. This isn't rocket science. It doesn't have to be rocket science.
Yeah, I mean, it's just gotta be fun. It's gotta be interesting. And I know it's kind of weird. It just is. It's just kind of weird. To me, the WWE is just weirdish. Very weird right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, I'll give them the opportunity and see if I'll keep watching, see if they do anything. But it's weird. It's really weird.
I think once WrestleMania has come and gone, we can do like a full episode of, grade Triple H's performance as the guy in charge, because we'll have a full year where we can actually look. Okay, here's Mania. Here's where he would put this guy in the position and this guy. I think right now it's almost done. We've almost finished that measurement period, but not quite yet. Got a little room for, God, I hope, room for something. So next up was actually a really fun, hard-hitting match, and this was the men's version of the Elimination Chamber for the U.S. title. I really enjoyed this match. Again, hard-hitting. You had some great interaction with Johnny Gargano and Seth Rollins. I actually really enjoyed that. You had some really solid, just jaw-dropping moments as well, with the Hurricanrana from the top of the chamber pod. There was just some really cool moments there. And while it was predictable that we were going to see Logan Paul, and I think a lot of people were like, Oh, wow. I can't believe it's Logan Paul. I mean, Seth Rollins had kind of telegraphed it by going on Pat McAfee's show and talking about how Logan Paul doesn't respect the business and doesn't respect what these guys go through and all of that. It gave us Austin Theory still as our U.S. champ. And the going rumor right now, Brian, is that it's going to be Theory and John Cena at WrestleMania.
So, I've said it multiple times on my feeling on, like, superstars coming back and getting these types of higher profile matches. And, that's not going to be anything that I'm going to concern myself with.
I mean, people will pay to see John Cena, no doubt. That is kind of a given. But, like, this is going to be what? John Cena beats him and wins the title? For what purpose? Okay. So John Cena loses again. Yes. For what purpose, right? Like, there's no logic behind any of this.
Yeah, so this is clearly, to me, would be a Vince move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's absolutely no rhyme, no reason whatsoever for this. I mean, I'd be very curious, like, although it's not something I want to see because it, again, has happened multiple times, but who is Seth going to wrestle? You know what I'm saying? If I'm higher up on the card, like a Seth Rollins or, somebody like that, and you're going to bring in John Cena. So I could have a title shot and maybe put on a good match with this kid, but you're going to bring in Cena, who hasn't even been here in, by that time, I guess, several months. He's getting the title shot. Oh, okay. Well, there comes a point in time where you have to reward the ones that are making you money. And I mean, Seth is, I think, doing a pretty good job.
Seth's out there doing the Lord's work right now. Yeah. Seth is delivering on a whole nother level.
Yeah. Them stupid shoes.
Oh my God. The stomp he did with those was hilarious. Like Super Mario squish a Koopa.
I mean, you can't reward that guy. Yeah, again, you don't have to give him the title, but reward him with the title shot at WrestleMania.
Right.
He's one of the few bright spots you have. And what are we doing? Oh, no. I don't know where we're going to put Seth, right? Because we have, a month or so a month and a half to get to WrestleMania, whatever it is. And, man, this time, Seth's not really doing anything to even get on the card.
Oh, we got him headed towards Logan Paul.
Oh, Logan Paul. Well, why couldn't we had Logan Paul beat Austin Theory, at the Elimination Chamber and win the title? And then, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think we're all solidly in the camp of, no on Logan on Austin Theory. Like, we're just not sold.
Yeah,
he sucks.
Indeed. Let's welcome Rob. He's joining us now. What's up, man?
What's happening, fellers?
How you doing?
I'm all right. Sorry.
You're good. We were just doing the breakdown of the Elimination Chamber, headed towards our main event. We talked about some of the goof ups, the trip ups, the missteps. But there were actually some good parts of the chamber match that actually seemed pretty cool. For example, we had Montez Ford just performing out of his mind as always. This guy has big star potential. And I feel like as long as he can stay healthy, he can literally write his own ticket.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a great time. The one spot that I didn't like was where he climbed to the top of the cage. You know, like I knew what he was doing, but like,
Yeah,
it was that, because you watched everybody else, like the camera angle was so horrible
right.
because it just showed the wrestlers, they kept looking up to see if he was there. Like.
That's that Kevin Dunn magic in action right there. Get the reaction shots. Look at all the guys just waiting. What are they going to do? We know exactly what he's going to do, stupid. Just let him do it.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Kevin McDunn.
Ugh.
Kevin McDunn.
It always floors me when people will take the time to start looking at, well, he did something for Vinny. He did something for Vince. Nobody gives a damn. No fan gives two shits what Kevin Dunn did for Vince. And I'll die on that hill. Nobody cares. Just, is he good in the ring? Can we please put the wrestling on? That's all I care about. It's nothing else. I don't need to know what Kevin Dunn does anymore.
Well, I think the fans that even knew Kevin Dunn or cared are gone.
I agree.
And the ones that are still around that knew of him or what he could do are all like, all right, give it up. It's time to go.
He's one of those guys that would literally tell Vince, nah, this person's not good for TV. How many people do you think Kevin Dunn is responsible for just completely burying and destroying that we never saw again that actually were pretty good?
I mean, that's the argument, how many people are the ones he got right more than the ones he got wrong.
Right. It's alarming. I mean, it really is. Just to look at it, and you have a good point on the camera angle in that shot. It was a very cool move, and the timing of it wasn't done in a way where it was badly laid out. It's just we don't need to see 5 people standing around like zombies waiting for him to fall. What we need to see is his effort getting to the top. We should have just focused on that and then did the drop. Yeah, the fans in the audience, they're going to see that. Okay, I get it, but we're watching on television. We're watching this magic unfold. So give us magic. Don't give us the man behind the curtain.
Right. I totally agree. Like, you're right. If they would have done an angle with him climbing the cage, with the commentators going, "Oh my God, where is he going? What is he doing?" And then boom.
Right. Hey, Brian, at least we didn't get Pat McAfee on commentary, so we didn't have to. And I like McAfee. I think he's funny most of the time, but yeah, that would have been bad Saturday night rather.
Pat McAfee on commentary is bad any night.
I don't know. I guess most of the time I find him funny because he goes so far over the top, and it's literally like they just let somebody, like they let one of us just sit down and do commentary. Is what I think of. Like he just has a blast.
What I thought of during the Rumble was the fact that that guy that everybody wants to be friends with, the cool guy that everybody wants to be friends with, but the cool guy is like literally making fun of you to your face.
Right.
And you're like, that's the vibe I kept getting from Pat McAfee. He's like, I'm going to come in here and make some money, make fun of these people, and then go off and do what I want.
Right. So now we get to our main event. We get to Sami Zayn against Roman Reigns for the undisputed Universal Intergalactic Championship of the world. Okay, cool. We got the build. Fans are ready. Fans are clamoring. They're ready to see something magic happen. Again, going back to that, show me the magic, right? We get a great matchup. We get a great bunch of moves that give you reason to believe, man, this could actually happen. This could really happen here. The crowd is electric. I mean, they're saying F you, Roman. They're chanting, let's go, Sammy. They're doing the Olay chants. I mean, that's the loudest sustained pop for a person when Sami Zayn came out that I can't remember the last time it was that loud. It was extreme, really huge, loud. And it really, what it told me was like, you have an opportunity here. Now, granted, I understand going into this main event, you still have a plan with Cody and Roman. That's the plan. And I get it. Everybody gets that that's the goddamn plan. We all know. Here's the thing. Sami Zayn right now is almost on that level where Bryan Danielson was. And if you're not careful, because every single interaction he's had so far with Cody has benefited both guys. But now, because of what you decide to do at the end of this match, you run the risk of having that moment get overshadowed by people that want to see Sami beat Roman Reigns.
So, unfortunately, I think for Cody, is last Monday did that man no favor.
Really? You feel that it didn't do him any favors? Okay.
No. Because what you did. So, who's got the hot hand right now? Cody or Sami?
Between the two, it's got to be Sami.
Right. So if Sami's got the hot hand,
no, can you bring me some of that stuff?
Why would you then go out there and put Cody in the ring with Sami? Because I saw that the promo.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the crowd chanting for?
Oh, they were firmly behind Sami.
Yes, and that's where you screwed up, right? So, again, you screwed the pooch on that one because you took who you thought was going to be the big baby face, and you just showed them to the even bigger baby face. And unfortunately, I think poor Cody is not only going to be overshadowed, but is probably going to become, dare I say it, the bad guy in all this. Because that crowd loves them some Sami.
And they don't feel like it's finished.
Right.
They haven't gotten the payoff that they want. And I agree with Brian. I mean, this is the result of a year in advance booking. Like they have it so regimented that they can't fly. Like they could, but they don't. I mean, what I would have done is, like everybody hoped at least one of those belts would have been on Sami.
Right.
They could have come up with something like, oh, Sami, it wasn't for both. It was for this one. So you did win. But here we are. The Sami series isn't finished yet, and now we're how close to WrestleMania?
And it gets better. With what we had been hearing and seeing, we know that there was the rumored plan of Sami and KO against the Usos for the tag titles at Mania. That's supposedly the plan, and based off what we've seen so far tonight, that's probably where they're headed. So, okay, we're going to get Sami and KO against the Usos. All right, so what does that mean, right? We're going to get the obvious, what we should have gotten, is the obvious Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso come down to the ring, screw Sami out of the win, yada, yada, KO makes the save. What did we get? We definitely didn't get that. No. Here's what happened. Jimmy Uso hits the ring. We start to get to what I think is going to be the finish. Jey Uso comes down and doesn't really make the save. No, Jey Uso just fucking stands there. Doesn't move an inch. Just stands there. Doesn't say anything. Doesn't do anything. And it gets worse. It gets to a point where Sami accidentally spears. Now we're all on the corner of it's Sami's friend Jey. So Sami spears his friend out of the ring, which causes the finish. In the most, like,
so who does he
kiss your sister kind of win.
So he spears Jay again?
So basically he goes for the spear. Roman ducks out of the way. Jay's standing behind Roman. So Jay catches the spear and goes out of the ring.
Again. Or are you talking about the other night?
I'm talking about Saturday night.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah.
I got confused.
So, okay. Sami doesn't win. All right. Well, obviously something's got to happen here, right? There's got to be more to this. Got to finish and deliver on this, right? No. Not only do we not deliver, KO comes down to make the save because they start to beat up on Sami. And now it's right. We're going to get the reconcile, right? We're going to see the two best friends hug. And it's okay that this is predictable, by the way. It's okay that it would have been predictable. But they don't even do that. No, instead, KO does come out and make the save, but he's basically like, F you, and walks away. Really? So not only did you neuter an entire storyline with Sami by not delivering on a finish, both good or bad, not only did you neuter a plan for KO and Sami to face the Usos, because now who's going to give a damn about Jimmy and Jay defending the tag titles when Jay doesn't even want to be there? You literally just made it like Jay doesn't want to do anything and Jay doesn't want to be there. Oh, by the way, to Brian's point, now you've also successfully neutered Cody Rhodes' plan because you didn't want to take a chance.
Well, no, I don't think you've like neutered his plans. I just think that you basically knocked his ass right off the pecking order.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, is the crowd behind Cody?
Yes. Solidly, yes.
I mean, think about it. The last few weeks outside of the Sami promo, you've had the whole, you weren't your dad's favorite son promo.
Great work, by the way. Great promo.
Yeah. But, again, it's a tried and true method on getting the crowd to sympathize for you. Get them in your corner, I guess.
Sure.
But again, the whole time you have been running the storyline that you should have seen come to fruition. And you just screwed the pooch because basically with you not giving Sami the rub, the nod, the win, whatever, poor Cody. Every time he's in the ring, they're going to be chanting for Sami.
And this is where it really irritates the shit out of me. I'm not saying that Sami had to win. I'm not. Would it have been awesome? Absolutely. But he could have also won by DQ. He could have won by countout. Could have given him the whole Lex Luger vibe where you give him the moral victory or whatever the hell it's called. What you did there was you basically showed the entire world. And yes, Triple H, 5 minutes, a bad 5 minutes of any part of your show, you're absolutely goddamn right. You're never going to hear the end of it. And for good reason. Because that 5 minutes delivers on storylines you've been building for over a year. 900 days, if we're going to be exact. So, yeah, you're damn right. That 5 minutes is going to suck balls and everybody's going to let you know about it. So what do we get? We got your absolute blatant inability to deliver on a storyline. And you can't tell me anything different. I don't give a damn if Sami wins the title. I give a damn that you take an action, you take a step. All you have to do there is say, to Brian's point, Sami won by DQ or count out, and now he's got a reason to push forward. You've given him something, but now because you've given him nothing, I'm supposed to buy in and say that Sami's going to fight from the underground from the underdog position again to go after the tag titles. Oh, by the way, KO stretches it another week tonight on Monday Night Raw as he basically says, "Hey, if you need a partner to go stick it to the bloodline, go get your buddy Jay." I've seen on social media said that Jey Uso is the story. It starts and ends with him. Yeah, no, that doesn't do it for me.
What they've
Sammy
done,
is the guy.
what they've done is they've thrown Cody. They've done to Cody what they did to Daniel Bryan when they threw him out at number 15 in the Rumble.
Yes.
You built all this shit up, and now you've thrown him out. What they've done to Daniel, what they've done to Sammy is when, and what this is reeking of, is when you had, finally you were going to have Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair at WrestleMania. Right? You were going to have Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair at WrestleMania. And then what'd they give us? Ric Flair versus Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan versus goddamn Sid Justice. And this is what it's stinking up. You're going to have, you couldn't give Sammy a title, or like you said, the emotional victory, the moral victory, whatever. And so now you're supposed to, you're expecting your fans to give a shit about him winning a tag title with a person that he literally beat the holy hell out of for the last month, 2 months. How many times did he turn on Kevin Owens in the, and then Cody, like you said, if Cody gets the victory, at WrestleMania, people are going to be like, yay. But at the end, they're going to go, it should have been Sammy.
Now, there is a saving grace to this. There is a way to turn this around. You can still get everything you want out of this storyline. The hope is not lost. But it's going to take a real ballsy call. And here's what you do. This is my thought on it. Here's what you do. You go into WrestleMania, and you have Sammy and KO challenge for the tag titles. And they lose. They don't get it done because KO and Sammy can't communicate. It's a botch. Somehow they lose. They don't win the titles. And everybody is now pissed heading into the main event. Roman and Cody. Finally, Cody's going to finish the story. And he does. Cody wins the championship. And he finishes the story. Next night on Monday Night Raw, Cody basically cuts the promo of the reign of terror is over. No, more like it's under new management. And Cody embraces a heel turn right away. And we go to SummerSlam with Sammy and Cody.
Nope. Sammy and Cody are not bested.
Are not what?
They're not bested as like in a storyline.
Okay.
How long has Sammy been with the Bloodline?
6 months?
You sure it's not longer?
I mean, for the amount of time that the storyline had run, I want to say it's 6 months, but I might be off by a month here or there.
So you legit have been running the best storyline you've had in God knows how many years.
Yep.
Right? And again, you screwed the opportunity to do it right.
Mm-hmm.
And then now the consolation prize is Cody. But people don't want to see Sammy and Cody. No. People want to see Sammy and Roman. Yes. So you can turn Cody bad all you want. It's going to happen eventually anyway because of Sammy.
Right.
Because that's how much heat he has. I mean, the kid's nuclear right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think we can all agree on that. And that being the case, it'll happen organically. So you don't need to have Cody, oh no, I'm the bad guy now. Oh no, it's gonna happen eventually. Anyway. But again, I don't want to see Sammy and Cody. Mm-hmm. I want to see Sammy and Roman for the title.
Let me ask you a question. You go into Mania now. We're what, 4 weeks, 5 weeks away from Mania. Would you have Cody lose and then push it even further down the road to say SummerSlam and have Sammy win it then?
Listen, if they were smart, they'd have Sami beat him on Raw or SmackDown.
Oh, okay.
For one, just like Rob said, for one of the titles. Doesn't have to be for both.
Right.
But this type of storyline does not happen often.
Very true.
I mean, this is one of these rare occasions that something came out of nowhere, and it's the biggest thing you got.
It feels like with this storyline, literally you could have another WrestleMania 30 kind of moment. And honestly, I've seen what people have said as far as, having Sami beat Roman first would diminish the title victory for Cody. Well, the story's never been about Cody winning both titles. The story has always been about winning the title his father couldn't win. So how does that diminish that story? I don't understand that. If Sami beats Roman because of, we'll just say, all kinds of shenanigans, right? And maybe KO finally comes to his aid and they reunite. That's a Mick Foley moment. You know what I mean? World title victory. Like, that is huge. And there's absolutely nothing that says that Sami can't defend at WrestleMania and have just as big of a moment. Not that, we want to give a whole lot of credit to Benoit, but Benoit and Guerrero had it at WrestleMania 20.
Well, and that's what, I like what Brian was saying. Which title did Roman not originally have?
The WWE title, yeah.
Okay. So then he wrestles for one, and Cody wants to be the WWE champion.
Right.
All right. So have him drop the Universal title to and then what happens is Kevin helps Sami win. Right? Or Jay helps Sami win. And then you have Jay versus Sami at WrestleMania.
That's an interesting dynamic. I kind of like that.
And then night 2 is, you know what? Yeah, I'm still the head of the table. I had to reorganize or whatever. I mean, the way they've iron-proofed Roman right now, there's they could spin it. Paul Heyman is a genius at that. Because I think if there's no payoff, you know what I mean? It's a whole different generation of fan these days. We're not the ones oh, darn, But I agree with you all. It's never been Cody's never been oh, I want both belts. We've all known that they're going to break the belts up eventually somehow. Even the Usos tag titles, they're going to break up eventually. So it's just, I agree with Brian on the fact that if they're going to do something, they need to do it before Mania and not SummerSlam. Because I think Sami still has it. Even after losing, he still has that allure behind him. So, they've pulled pay-per-views out of their ass before. Have a Tuesday in Texas. I don't give a shit.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's not like they don't have the schedule for it.
A Wednesday in Winnipeg.
Oh my God, that'd be kind of neat. Wednesday in Winnipeg. I like that. That works. Canadian fans right now are screaming their praises, Ron. Well done.
It's just, you knew for a fact that they were not going to give Sami the win in his hometown. It wasn't going to happen. When have they ever done that?
I think that's what irritates me so much, is because you had an opportunity with this, and again, I'm not talking about it had to be Sami winning. It could have been, and that would have been cool, but you have to actually do something. Literally anything would have been better than this, farting on a snare drum kind of thing that you just did in front of the entire world. And I don't know. I mean, part of me does kind of agree with you guys that this ultimately hurts Cody's storyline, and maybe this does overshadow, because now you're forced in a position where everybody wants to see Sami, and when you finally do win your title, because they're probably still going to go that direction, it's going to not go over as well, and you're going to ultimately suffer for it and force yourself in a position where, booking-wise, people are going to see this coming even worse, and no one's going to care.
Well, it's like when they finally put the title on Drew McIntyre, right?
Right.
When they finally gave Drew McIntyre the title, unfortunately, it was during COVID at the height of everything.
Yeah.
And the reaction was everybody's like, "Oh, whoopee shit," you know. But you didn't do him any favors for the next 2 years when they bitched him out to Roman how many times? And so it's just they've got to do something. But again, I also don't think that WWE was expecting it to come as nuclear as it did. This is Rusev Day all over again. Like, they didn't expect Rusev Day to become big. They didn't expect Sami wanting to be part of the bloodline to become big.
Yeah, they've publicly stated that many times. I mean, basically, Sami was a guest spot on their segments. They knew that was what it was. It was just going to be for a short amount of time. And the next thing you know, everybody takes to Sami Zayn. Everybody wants to see Sami. And it's great for Sami. I'm happy for him. But at the same time, it's like you're screwing this guy by not giving him something. And it's just, it floors me. And it's actually kind of sad that it still floors me when they make these kind of goofball decisions. And the reality is, when we start looking at it for really what it is, it's just, it's because it doesn't make sense, it almost hurts your brain. It's like, make it make sense. Find me the logic. And that's like trying to find a needle in the haystack at this point. Overall, I still say that the event itself was actually a pretty good show. Yeah, they've got some glaring issues and some room to really, really complain and shout at the heavens, so to speak. But overall, I thought the pay-per-view was pretty solid. I mean, the premium live event, pardon me, was solid. I didn't like the Brock delivery at all. I thought that was just stupid, made zero sense, and we're probably going to see it at Mania again. Nobody cares. Maybe we get Sheamus against Gunther again, though. That could be good. I'll take that again.
No, we won't have is whoever that really bad country artist was at the Royal Rumble.
Hardy. You know, he's on the soundtrack for 2K23. Thank God they had the option to turn that soundtrack off. Ugh. Let's go ahead and do it. Grade A through F, pay-per-view, Elimination Chamber. Brian, what do you got?
I'd say probably a B, solid B.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Gotcha. Rob, what do you think, buddy?
I was going to go with taking my emotions out of it.
It got quiet there for a second. I was like, damn, this is not going to grade it.
I'd say a B minus.
Okay.
B.
Yeah, and I'm with you guys. I think a B plus maybe. Solid show as far as the wrestling was concerned, but the bullshit finish of Sami was just bleh. And I know that somebody's going to go out there, and I always love when you see these takes on Twitter and stuff. Somebody's going to be like, they got you. Let it play out. Nah, fuck that. Do you have any idea how old I am? 44 years old, damn it. I don't have time for this. So let it play out. Just get to it. Quit screwing around. Do it right. Grumpy old wrestling fan.
Well, what are you supposed to let play out?
Whatever the hell the story is supposed to be. And that's like the question. What is the main story now? Is it supposed to be Cody?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's going to be Cody. So, And again, which is what you probably had planned when he signed, right?
And I like that. I want to see Cody win the title. I'm in favor of that, but I don't feel like this. What the hell?
What
is that music?
Don't worry about it. Keep going.
We're gonna get demonetized. We make a fortune on it. Anyway, what exactly are they going to do here? Because I still feel like they cut the ground out from under them. Because there's been some great promos, and there probably will still be building up to this matchup. But I kind of agree with you. I feel like the crowd is going to be like, we like Cody, but we want Sami.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we want. And he's going to be stuck because he's going to have to turn. He's going to have to do different things, and it's going to come off awkward. And we're going to be like, this sucks. And hail and farewell, his 4-week reign will be over.
I don't know. He may not have to turn because this is the WWE, and for all we know, Sami's storyline, good or bad, has run its course.
Yeah.
Like, they're just not concerned that, Sami is the hottest ticket they have right now. Because Lord knows we've seen the WWE do that on multiple occasions. And they could very well just be like, we're sticking with the plan because we know better. It's going to be Cody.
So this challenge is actually pretty easy, although it is all you have to do.
That's the WWE for you folks.
Well, I mean, and you could almost say that Sami's win, like you said, like it doesn't have to be a belt. Like maybe Sami's win is the fact that he's going to dismantle the bloodline.
Right.
Roman, you're all by yourself now. Maybe Sami doesn't get another chance to fight Roman until after whatever. But maybe he just plays those games with him so that he can't totally focus on Cody. Where he's got Cody prepping for him, but then Sami's over here taking out Jay, taking out Paulie. So when Roman gets to WrestleMania, he ain't got nobody. And then Sami could spin it that way. Like, I didn't win the belt. I didn't win the match. But you know what? I'm going to win this because who you got now?
I did ask the question on the group chat, and I felt like this could have been an interesting way to go. Literally, you could have had a couple different scenarios where this storyline could continue rolling, and you could continue the, Roman is the conquering bad guy by just doing it basically like a Rocky IV, where you don't kill Sami, but you beat him within an inch of his life to the point where Cody had to come out and make the save. You could have literally did that and made it seem, of course, the fans are going to be even more sympathetic to, Sami because of him getting beat down again, and now them showing that literally Roman is a madman kind of thing. But at the same time, it gives credibility towards they can work together. Now, granted, I don't know how long that would last. It seems like a Band-Aid more than anything else. But I would have even bought into that. Even a little, maybe a little bit. It's funny, when I typed it, it sounded a lot better, I'll be honest. Saying it out loud, I'm like, okay, maybe not so much.
Sorry. It's all right.
Go ahead and say Roman hurt you, and you'll be fine.
He did. He hurt me. Curse you, Roman Reigns! All right, I'll be all right. So when I looked at Elimination Chamber and kind of looked at just how everything went overall, I felt like it was pretty good. Pretty good. I was still kind of wanting some good solid wrestling though. I wanted to see some good stuff, and so we actually got that in the form of Battle in the Valley. Believe it or not, CM Punk was in attendance for this event, and he would be there to witness the matchup between Kairi Sane or Kairi Hojo. I think she's just going by Kairi now. between Kyrie and Mercedes Moné, formerly known as Sasha Banks. This was a solid 3-hour show. It took place last night. Brian, tell us about Battle in the Valley.
No, why don't you tell us about it? You know I hate when you do that. You're killing me right now. What you got? You got something else to do right now?
Did you not watch it?
Oh, I watched it.
Honestly, I'm not caught up on it. That's why I tossed it to you so that you can speak about it a little bit.
I mean, the bad part is, you had 2 pay-per-views going on at the same time. So, I managed to catch a lot of it, but the beginning part, I didn't catch all of it. So I think I picked up, what was the first match I saw? Crap, I can't remember the first one. I don't know. So anyway, we'll just start with Mercedes, and I think that might just very well be easiest. So I love the entrance, the look, her costume, Mercedes costume.
Yep.
And of course, I enjoyed Kyrie. Have ever since the first time I saw her. Although I'm not quite sure on the crazy captain thing, but it is what it is, right? It was better than I was anticipating.
Mm-hmm.
And just because, I wasn't sure. I didn't know how it was going to play out.
Well, you're not alone there. I was reading a report that there were actually concerns about attendance at first because they didn't know how well it was going to deliver. This was before they had confirmed that Moné was going to be debuting. So they booked a venue that was relatively small, seated about 300. And then it turns out that Moné is confirmed, and they end up turning it into a sellout.
There were more than 300 people there. So that looked like a decent mid-sized one. But yeah, I mean, it's a different style for her. So I was just kind of leery how it was going to turn out, because you just never know, right? Not everybody can do strong style, Japanese style, but I enjoyed it. I won't say it was her best outing, but I enjoyed it, which is what I was looking for overall for her. She didn't have to hit a home run for me, but it at least had to be enjoyable. And I think it was that. There shouldn't be no shame in the game for her. I don't know who her next opponent is, but I think Bailey was there too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Bailey was confirmed in attendance.
Yep. Something tells me that girl, once her contract's up, is going to New Japan also.
Well, I mean, what we saw here, and a lot of this hinged on the ability for the women in WWE to see that you can indeed transition out and become successful. Because let's face it, Ruby Soho's kind of doing the same thing she was doing in WWE. Toni Storm, same difference. She was starting to get a push before she left, and then everything kind of fell apart. Saraya, we haven't really seen her develop anything yet. So there's not exactly a lot of proof that you can transition out as a woman in WWE, that is, and be successful. So I think, if anything, Mercedes Moné really showed that you can be and that you are.
Well, I mean, again, I'm not going to take anything away, but I think it was probably a gimme that she would win that title, whether she won it Saturday night or the next time they fought, on the next show. She was going to get that title because while Kairi Sane is a big name worldwide, so is Mercedes. And I dare say Mercedes might be a tad bit more like bigger name. And for that, that title hasn't been around long at all. So, I mean, how long has Kairi had it?
Kairi was their first women's champion.
Yeah. And you had a tournament to crown the champ. And that was only 4 months ago, something like that. 3 or 4 months ago. So again, it's not like it's been around a long time, and something tells me too that it's going to be defended over here in the States. And while you may have a certain audience that will not recognize Mercedes Moné, they're going to recognize the face of Sasha Banks.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought she did good for her first attempt that I've seen of that style. And I would imagine she will take that title to, a different place, and she'll become a bigger, a face for it, and which is what New Japan will need with it.
Yeah, you need a franchise player, so to speak, and I think she's going to deliver that for New Japan. They've got to be incredibly happy with the appeal. The merchandise stands were basically sold out throughout the entirety of the night. There were pictures all over social media showing fans lined up long after the show was done, trying to get their last glimpse of any merchandise that was available. So clearly, this was a huge success in Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's what New Japan needs is, if they're branching out to become, want to become a bigger global force, then they're going to need something like that.
Let's see other matches on the card. We had Alex Coughlin defeating J.R. Kratos. David Finlay beats Bobby Fish. Kushida, Volador Jr., Kevin Knight, and the DKC defeated Mascara Dorada, Josh Alexander, Adrian Quest, and Rocky Romero. And the match that people are talking about, mainly based off of who was in attendance, Kenta defeated Fred Rosser, formerly known as Darren Young, for the Strong Openweight Championship. The reason I say that it got a lot of people's attention was because he won the match using the GTS, mocking CM Punk in the process.
Well, I mean, think about it. We didn't get it at last year's Forbidden Door in Chicago.
Right.
They've already said that there's probably going to be Forbidden Door number 2. I really think Punk is, once he heals up, is on the way back. And what better way to headline Forbidden Door 2?
Oof. Kenta and CM Punk, I'm in for that. Hopefully CM Punk can stay healthy and come back and have a good solid run. I feel like, I'm a big proponent of being able to go out on your own terms, and I'd love to be able to see him finish his run in a positive way.
Well, I mean, when June, July, I think. Last year, was it August?
August, I think.
I don't remember, but
Are you talking about his injury, or are you talking about Forbidden?
No, Forbidden Door.
Oh, June.
Okay, so June. But again, he was hurt for that, so that's why he didn't participate. So we're almost at March. June is not too far around the corner.
Right.
It would not be crazy if they go back to Chicago, right? Kenta can talk all the smack he wants. And we get to Chicago. Kenta makes short work of somebody, grabs the mic, starts running down Chicago. Cult of personality hits. Cats and dogs living together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, mass hysteria. And that place once again goes ballistic. I dare say the wrestling world would probably like sit up and be like, "Oh shit, we're gonna get this."
Dude, I got to tell you, there's few events like that happen anymore that are just that cool. That would be huge.
I mean, again, he's been on the shelf for several months. We don't have to rush to bring him back. Let's let's keep everybody speculating. Is he? Isn't he? You know, are they going to keep him under contract? What are they doing? He can keep throwing hints, and Kenta can keep talking smack, and you don't even book the match. You just let it happen. Have Kenta run down Chicago and their fans, and let it hit. Give Chicago a moment. CM Punk a moment. You know as well as I do. If you didn't get the pay-per-view, and as soon as the Twitterverse explodes, oh shit, CM Punk is back taking on Kenta.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a lot of people going up. Here's my money. Take my money. I need to start watching this pay-per-view.
Admit it. You'd go back for Forbidden Door too if that was on the card.
So I would go back for Forbidden Door 2 had I not already planned a trip to Dollywood or whatever, Gatlinburg in Tennessee. Because listen. Last year, at the end of the year, my wife, my daughter, me, we all put in destinations. You know, everybody got to pick 2 where we're going to take, vacation this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I just heard a little rumblings there might be Forbidden Door 2. So mine was going to be Chicago. And somehow or another, I wound up winning the pick. And it was going to be Chicago. But the look on my wife when she didn't get the Tennessee visit, I said, nope, we need to do the right thing this year. She wants to go, so we're going to take her to Tennessee.
So that means a guy's trip to Chicago.
If it's announced and you book the hotel, you book the whatever else, I'm down for it, because we can do just a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like we did. Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and it's an hour plane ride, or hour and a half, whatever it is. I think it's about an hour, honestly.
By the time the plane gets up, it's time for it to come down.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep, it's going up and coming right down.
Spend more time in security and on the runway.
Yeah. It would not be out of the realm of possibility for me to pull that off. The plane ticket was not bad. Splitting a hotel room 3 ways would not be bad. So really your big expense is going to be your plane ticket. We stayed at a hotel probably less than a mile from the stadium. We walked. So we didn't have to fork out no money for any of that stuff. And I'm down. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to be the one that can book it. Somebody else wants to book it, I'll jump and pay my share. because my wife will probably kill me.
If it's your idea.
Yeah, if it's my idea, she's going to kill me.
But if you're just going along with one of my harebrained
yeah. Yeah.
Honey, I gotta go because Rob's committed, and Rob, I can't let him go by himself.
Yeah, I mean, to quote Fast Times at Ridgemont High, first she's gonna shit, and then she's gonna kill me.
That's a great quote.
Yeah. So, but again, if I miss this one, I'll miss this one. But that was one of the reasons I went last time. I had not seen CM Punk in forever. I've never seen CM Punk in Chicago. I wanted to see CM Punk in Chicago, and I wanted to see this fucking pay-per-view. And I'll do it again if, when the time's right.
Who knows? Maybe this time we finally get Okada in a match, like legitimately in a singles match, not a 4-way.
Yeah, but still, I can live with that for now. I would ultimately love to see Okada versus Omega.
Dude, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I would love to see one of those, but if I can't have that, I'll just take seeing Okada in a match to begin with. Because, I mean, there were only a few times that the crowd really went crazy, and you understand, like, how much of an international superstar Okada is. And when his music hit, I mean, the place just went nuts, And I would love to see Okada versus Omega one day.
Well, getting back into the Battle in the Valley card, we had Motor City Machine Guns defeating the West Coast Wrecking Crew to successfully retain the Strong Openweight Tag Team Championship. In a match where the loser leaves New Japan, Eddie Kingston defeated Jay White. And it wasn't necessarily this match itself that was a surprise. It was more along the lines of what happens after the fact, as David Finlay hits the ring after the fact and just smashes Jay White over the head with a club, a shillelagh, I think is what they called it.
Shillelagh.
And the camera work on this was tremendous, because literally it just looks like he killed Jay White with it. Just clobbered him. And now Jay White effectively is gone from New Japan, and there's rumbling all over the place that Jay White could turn up in WWE. But you know what? He had a really, really solid cameo appearance in AEW. I mean, I thought he did really well. I'm Tony Khan. I'm on the phone. I'm getting him in there.
Well, so, I mean, again, this is your biggest... Well, let me back that up. According to the dirt sheets out of the WWE camp, he is your second biggest free agent. But for those that are uninitiated, this is the biggest free agent on the market. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they put out a report that, there's somebody bigger. Triple H, he's eyeballing somebody bigger than Jay White.
And who's that?
There is nobody bigger than Jay White.
Like free agent was?
Yes. There's no free agent bigger than Jay White right now.
Jay White is the free agent, period. Like, I can't think of anybody else.
Yeah. And, my only problem with this, and, again, he goes WWE, great. I'm starting to watch it again. So he would definitely make me want to watch it.
Right.
He goes to AEW, even better, because there's no question I'll be watching AEW. Right? However, once again, we are now falling into the same pattern that we have fallen into since the 90s. Two companies, two bloated ass rosters. The biggest free agent on the planet right now one of the two is going to get him in the bidding war. But no matter what company he goes to, he will probably get lost in the shuffle, with the exception of AEW. Now, I'm not saying they're going to do him right, but I think he will at least be put on TV and they'll know what to do with him. Whereas WWE, he may very well come in a big name, but then turn out to be Karrion Kross. And here we are.
Oh, no. No.
6 months later, and yeah, I'm putting out tweets because I'm frustrated because they don't know what to do with me.
Oh, if you want to know a guy that would be vocal about not getting used, Jay White will be very, very vocal if you don't use him.
Yeah, but either way, though, he's going to get locked into a contract.
Yeah.
Right? And I would be more leery of the WWE right now because, again, they're signing these free agents. That roster's just as bloated as it was, some time ago. And there's reports that Triple H has already come out and said, no, we're doing it to keep them off the other show.
Right.
Well, that's the same mentality Vince had, and look where it got him. One good storyline, and AEW is going to be on par with Raw. Because they're still teetering around 1 million.
Mm-hmm.
If they strike gold on one storyline, another 500,000 is not far off.
Right.
And that puts them on Raw's level. So you keep buying these people that aren't being used, and Jay White will be another one. I'm telling you, he'll be another one. So he's going to probably have one good run. Right, he'll show up at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
He'll jump Cody. There'll be a 2-3 month little feud. Boom, out the main event picture. Heading to the back of the line. They don't know what to do with this guy.
Right.
I mean, this guy would be on par of Shawn Michaels going to WCW when Shawn Michaels was at the top of his game.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Eric Bischoff would be like, Shawn, you're NWO. You're NWO for life. Put on the black and white. Right? And so what does Shawn do? Shawn now plays second fiddle to Hogan, to Nash, to Hall, to X-Pac, right on down the line. Shawn comes in the hottest free agent. No, black and white, NWO. And oh, by the way, Shawn, you're never going to sniff the title. You're there to make sure Hogan keeps it.
Right. Not only that, you're going to put over Hogan.
Yeah.
Every time.
Every time. Yeah.
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 And Bischoff would have did it because Bischoff was just firmly, whatever Hogan says, brother.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. Michaels would have come in like a hot potato. He'd have probably had one good shot at Hogan. Hogan would have flexed his muscles, beaten Michaels, and the next thing you know, the very next night on Nitro, Hogan would wave to the back, or here would come Michaels running down to make the save, and he'd super kick Sting.
Yeah.
Right. And he's NWO.
And
right?
Here's the thing: Michaels doesn't get the benefit of winning the title like Bret Hart did. And here's why: Bret Hart wins that title because Owen dies. I hate to say it, and I know that's a mean thing to say. The reality is, when Owen Hart dies in late '98, we get to 1999. Excuse me, late '99. I'm sorry. And they've got no choice, but Bret's the most popular guy they have right now, and they have to do something. So they put the title on Bret. Now, granted, Bret does get another run at it, but by this point, Bret he's banged up. He's not quite as badly hurt as he was with Goldberg, but he's getting there. He's banged up. Hogan is still pulling strings in the back. You've got the chaos of Vince Russo. There's no way Shawn Michaels would have been able to outlast that. And I am the biggest Shawn Michaels fan I know, but he would have never had that success. And it's crazy to even call that part of Bret's career a success.
Mm-hmm. I mean, ultimately, here's what the WWE does with Jay White, right? So he leaves New Japan as the quote-unquote de facto leader of Bullet Club, right? He's the face of your Bullet Club right now,
right?
Or was anyway. Well, doggone it, don't we have 3 members of that very same faction just sitting around not doing anything?
Right.
And one of them just happens to be injured. But God, I'm paying a lot of money for these other 2 guys to fight on main event or whatever show they might have, right? So here's what happens. WrestleMania, Jay White shows up, beats down Cody, feuds happens, and Jay White forms, or jumps in the club. 3 months later, 3 months later, well, AJ Styles and Jay White aren't big enough, to be in the same club together. So Jay White and the what do you call them guys? Gallows and Anderson.
Who are those guys?
Yeah, who are those guys?
I'm sure they appreciate that.
But they turn on AJ, right? Yeah. So 3 months down the line, we've gone from Jay White jumping Cody Rhodes getting a title shot to now he's feuding with AJ Styles. And he never sniffs that world title ever again. And that's a shame. It's an honest to God shame.
It gets to the point where if you're a free agent right now, maybe it's wiser just to sign a year at a time.
So I think I would take a page out of some of the people from AEW. Oh, I will sign with your company, but I'm going to have dates. I'm going to have dates that I go do whatever the hell I want, wherever the hell I want. And don't worry, I'm not going to be wearing your clothes, your logos, none of that.
I won't dump your title in the trash.
Yeah, I'm not dumping your title in the trash. You can hold on to it while I'm away at excursion or whatever. That to me, that would be smarter. I mean, the rumors FTR might go back to the WWE. Well, once again, now we're at a bloated roster, and y'all got screwed the first time. What do you think's going to happen to you the second time? There is talk that they're going to do take a year and just run the indies. That might be the smartest thing you can do right now for anybody, is just to go wherever you want, whenever you want, wrestle on whatever program you want. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And
you
just
look
wrestle.
Right. And look at what Matt Cardona has done. I mean, Matt Cardona has done basically what Cody did, not at the level Cody did it, but I mean, the man is constantly reinventing himself on different, he does all things. Like he's at small little indie circuits, but then he's at those feeder systems, like I know he just fought, Cyrus for the NWA title again. But yeah, I mean, at this point, with both companies kind of having their people, I would be very leery to sign an exclusive deal with anybody right now.
Mm-hmm. So is Cardona signed to the WWE?
No. He's still free agent.
Was that like just a one-off or something?
Like Chelsea Green, his wife, is signed with WWE.
Yeah, but Matt Cardona is still a free agent.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I thought he got signed for some reason.
So there was
leading up to it. He was joking with everybody for weeks. Kept posting pictures of himself as Zack Ryder, and going to the extent of he's actually trademarked the name Zack Ryder.
Yeah, and he's even tried to, he's even leaked out to the media to try to make it seem as if he had signed.
Well, but I mean that to me, Cardona is doing it right now.
Yeah.
right? He is all over the place. He is a bigger star now than he was as Zack Ryder. I know, don't get me wrong. People love Zack Ryder because, there's one thing about wrestling fans. Wrestling fans will pick up on the fact that you're a good wrestler or you're entertaining, and they don't care what the higher-ups say. You know what I'm saying?
When you collect wrestling figures, you're even better.
Exactly. My God.
Like, collect toys, you're awesome.
But yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. People should take a page out of his book, right? He's making money. He's all over the place. He's one of the biggest, free agents out there on the market.
Yep.
And he's doing it. He's enjoying what he's doing.
I just saw where he and Chelsea posted that after 5 years of looking for houses, they finally they were going to build their own. So apparently, life is good if he can afford to, in the Florida market. Apparently he's not worried about, oh my God, where's my next paycheck coming from? But I agree with Brian on the fact that you got to think, how many people WWE's brought back and they haven't used? How many people does AEW have that they don't use? And I'm not saying don't use. I'm just saying using main event storylines. And someone like Jay White would have to be main event. So, looks like they're going to break up the Alpha Academy.
Oh my God, really?
Yep, he's out there with Maxine Dupree while Chad Gable is in the ring getting ready to get squished by Bronson Reed. Oh, yeah, he got squished. That had to hurt.
But did you see one of my dream teams is coming true?
What's that? Which dream team?
Lita.
Oh,
Becky
yeah.
Lynch.
Lita and Becky. Supposedly, we were supposed to see a big comeback tonight, but we haven't seen it yet. I'm not going to spoil it, so we'll see if maybe it happens. I don't get half the stuff we're seeing on WWE lately. And I had thought for a while, I had really thought that they were making improvements, but they're just back.
I think they're trying they're trying to give Bronson Reed a moment, but then it's also we're on that autopilot to WrestleMania.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it feels like. It's just, all right, well, we're going to do these 3 things, and we're just going to stick with that, and that's all. That's all we're doing, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah. I mean, it's back in the day of you remember when we used to go to see house shows and then you'd see the same damn matches on Monday. You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Well, there's somebody nobody gives a shit about.
Yeah.
Austin Theory.
So Wednesday. Gosh, why would I say Tuesday? Wednesday night, there is a announcement coming from Tony Khan. A big announcement on Dynamite. You guys have any idea what this announcement would be?
Who knows?
He bought Madison Square Garden, therefore WWE can never be there again.
Okay, that would be hilarious.
No. No. What would be hilarious, and of course, this is just me fucking around here. What would be hilarious is one Khan show up and be like, no, the paperwork said Khan.
But it's Nick
say
Khan.
which Khan.
Oh my God. I'd love it. That'd be great. It's just like when he bought Ring of Honor. And he said, "There's no Shane here. There's no Shane. It's really me." I get credit, but what? Okay.
That'd be the best thing I'll ever hey guys, I've been working with somebody very close in business, and I think it's time to talk to y'all. And I want to bring out my brother,
Nick Khan. It's all a ruse.
Let's put to rest what's the most asked question in wrestling today? Is Nick Khan and I brothers?
What if the announcement was that he's
brothers
buying WWE?
Got a hug.
What if the announcement is that he's bought WWE?
Not if $1 billion is the price range, $7 billion.
I think that's a load of shit. I think that's Vince just trying to keep the non-buyers away.
Well, I mean,
no, I mean that's probably because again, you're buying the contracts that Vince has made.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So the Fox deal,
Saudi Arabia,
the Saudi Arabia deal, the USA Network. You know what I'm saying?
Right deal. Yeah.
Like his actual company is probably not that valued at that much, but it's everything that comes with it that you're paying for.
the potential of what you're going to make.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to sell it to you for $400 million when he's more going to make $1 billion in 5 years from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Maybe he announces CM Punk's return.
No, it's not. Yeah. I don't. Something like that would better be served the surprise.
I agree. I'm just trying to. I'm spitballing because, like,
Are you in the
what else is
bathroom?
there for him to do? Huh? No, I'm not in the bathroom.
Well, I mean, there's all types of things. You know, it could be a streaming deal. It could be, you know, we've reached a new deal with Warner Brothers, and we're staying on. What are they on? TBS.
TBS and TNT.
Yeah, we got a new show at 6:05 on TBS. I mean, there's any number of things.
I'm bringing out a new belt.
Yeah.
And not, instead of the All Atlantic, now it's the Mid Pacific.
The Northern UP. It's called the Northern UP title.
I mean, has he officially announced the ROH is starting in, 2 weeks? Or did AEW just do that?
I felt like, it feels like AEW just did. Like, just quietly said, yeah, we're starting our tapings.
Yeah. So maybe he comes out and says, hey, guess what? ROH is going back to full business in 2 weeks. And oh, by the way, every champion is stripped.
Yeah.
So we're going to start holding tournaments for everything. Who knows? I mean, who knows? Especially with that guy.
He's unpredictable, man. You don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah. Oh, we bought Impact. I mean, who knows?
Oh, my God.
Who knows? We've reached a deal with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and, you know, the streaming service HBO Max is going to not only have AEW, but it'll also have New Japan on it, or, you know, ROH, their streaming service. You know, who knows? Who knows? Hard to tell.
AEW will be streaming on Peacock. We've got a new deal. We're leaving Time Warner and we're going to Peacock.
They're going to stream on the cock. Wait, what?
I mean, honestly, I think as fans that have lived through the WCW WWE era, right? I think the worst thing that could happen would be the same guy buy WWE. I mean, I think he's done great with what he's got, but we see what happens when one guy owns all the wrestling, you know?
Well, but I also think he's probably learned from the past.
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, he could have very easily been like, oh, it's ROH. We're just going to fold it and then, you know, whatever. But now it's, again, we're 2 weeks from the TV tapings at ROH. You know, that's what Vince should have done with WCW.
Yeah. Could you imagine if he did,
reworked it? What?
Could you imagine, like, just for an instant, if he did buy, Tony did buy WWE, right? And on one program, you could literally see, as a wrestling fan, ROH, New Japan, WWE, and AEW. Like, that would just blow the minds of the bobbleheads right there.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. There are only so many people in the world that can come up with a $7 billion offer. But if I have that money, don't think I ain't going for it.
How much are the Jags worth?
Oh, no, they got more money than that. They ain't got to worry about selling nothing.
Legitimately, if they wanted to buy it, they probably could.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt.
They're pretty well connected. You don't have that.
Oh, yeah.
They have like stupid Jeff Bezos money, which is why it always cracks me up when people are like, AEW is going to go bankrupt. No, they
Which is why what? I couldn't hear that last part.
People will say on social media, it always cracks me up when they say AEW is going to go bankrupt. No, they won't.
No, this isn't like some guy playing with his tax money.
Right, exactly. This is legitimately somebody and his own father has said, I'll continue to fund it. I don't care. Okay.
Yeah, it's his money.
Right, exactly.
Money.
Yeah, he's going to let him do it. It's his project. I'm going to let him do what he loves. It's exactly what he said in an interview.
Yeah, I mean, I think what he said was, oh, well, he was getting this money when I died anyway.
Exactly.
But I'm going to give it to him now so he can, do his thing.
I mean, that's just smart. And why not? Yeah, Rob does have a point. If there's one owner of all the wrestling, we've learned it before, that's not always great. But Tony Khan's been pretty versatile. Yeah, he's got room for improvement, but he's been pretty versatile with the two companies.
Well,
Next week on Raw.
But again, though, I also don't think that Tony would be dumb enough not to bring Triple H on board and some of these other ones on board. And, hey, you do your thing over here. We'll do everything over here. Mm-hmm. And I, of course, am going to learn from everybody because I'll run the whole show.
And, of course, we will have one big pay-per-view. WrestleMania will not just be you all, but we'll have it for a weekend, and it'll be everybody.
Could you imagine owning the rights to WrestleMania?
Because I think also the thing about the WWE, the sale that you think about is if it includes everything, how much money is tied up in that library alone?
Oh, that library is, I'd say, probably every bit of a good $50 million library, if not more than that.
Yeah.
So, but, the other thing, too, is whoever is going to put up the money is not doing it by himself.
Right.
So, maybe the Khans put up $4 billion to become the controlling partner. And then they find enough backers to get the other $3 billion, which again is not. Huh?
Triple H go in with them.
Yeah, I'm shocked, honestly, that Triple H hasn't been attached to one of these things yet. I mean, I think. What did I see? If they sell, that Stephanie makes like $100 million plus.
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy amount of money.
Well, I mean, she never took a salary. They did this like for financials, and like she makes all her money off the stock options because she owns so many of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, as we get ready to close up, we're a couple weeks away from Revolution. We got the Iron Man match with MJF and Bryan Danielson. We got the tag title match, which is going to be, I don't know, it's the Gun Club defending against four other teams apparently. We're seeing more developments with Saraya's Outsiders against the AEW Originals or Home Team, or I don't know what they're referring to them as yet. So we've got definitely some developments next week. We're going to go through it. We're going to do a countdown to Revolution next week. We're going to talk about our predictions, and we'll lay out.
Already?
Yeah.
I thought it was closer to the end.
Okay. Let me just double check.
I could be wrong. Maybe it's ROH I'm thinking about.
March 5th.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. 2 weeks away.
2 weeks.
So that's going to do it for us. Catch up with Rob at Rob Hefner C2C on the Twitter bot. Catch up with Brian at Vlad Dragul. That's VLAD DRAGOOL C2C on Twitter. And catch up. catch up with the show at C2C Radio Show. I'm at Stan Grubb on Twitter. And that's going to do it. We'll see you next time right here on Corner to Corner. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next time.